Hi, I'm Tyler, and welcome to another episode of my Christian Music Week reviews. Each week I take 5 releases, be it albums, EPs, or singles, and after I listen to them all week, I come back here and I review them. I share what I think about them. So without further ado, let's get to this week's first release. J.J. Howard's new single, Hold On. J.J. Howard's new single, Hold On. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good song here. Stylistically, definitely a soft alternative ballad. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here as well. JJ talks about how you've been drowning in heartbreak for a long time, where least expected, but stay strong with the strength you'll find in God's sufficient grace and help, and hold on to hope, because you're going to make it out of the heartbreak. Up next, Cochren and Company's new album, Running Home. Cochren and Company's new album, Running Home. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good album here, stylistically. Definitely some contemporary pop rock influence and also some pop influence as well here. Pop contemporary influence here. I would note though the big change is while there is some R&B influence here, not as much of the jazz influence as was on Cochren and Company's first album. Instead, we hear more country and southern influence, which sound pretty good on here as well. Also, I would note worship influences made their way into a few of the songs as well, which is notable considering, which I found kind of neat considering in real life, Michael Cochren is actually a worship leader, so I found that kind of neat that he snuck some worship influences into there as well, and they sound good here on this album as well. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here too. Michael Cochren talks about how he spent a long time looking for something to undo his shameful past, but came up unsatisfied until God in His grace, through Jesus' blood, unexpectedly pursued Michael to resurrect him free from his past into a new life where Michael, in the midst of the hard times in this world, joyfully puts hope in Jesus' promise of a glorious future of victory in heaven. And Michael seeks to, in love, encourage others who are going through a hard time with this truth. Up next, Colony House's new album, The Canonballers. Colony House's new album, The Canonballers. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good album here, stylistically, definitely on the alternative pop rock side of things, with emphasis on the alternative rock side of things. One song that I would note in particular is that also there is some punk influence on the first couple songs as well. I would say Landlocked Surf Rock, the alternative punk side of that song. The alternative punk sound of that song kind of reminds me of 2000's Reliant K. I would particularly note that. I would say it's mostly on the upbeat side of things, this album is, but there are a few ballad moments as well here, and the upbeat moments can get pretty fun at times. Particularly One of Those Days, which is kind of interesting considering the song talks about anxiety, but the sound has a fun feel to it. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here, as I kind of referenced by talking about One of Those Days. Definitely on the honest, candid side of things. And as for the lyrics here, Caleb Chapman, who, yes, is Stephen Curtis Chapman's son, talks about how he's anxiously worn out, trying to make money to survive these crazy times and find a purpose he fits into and it's holding him back from his potential. But he wants to change and hopes his wife loves him as much as he loves her, like she used to, and hopes she sticks with him as he figures things out. Up next, Building 429's new single, a cover of You Keep Hope Alive. Building 429's cover of You Keep Hope Alive. Let's dive into it. I was pretty excited to hear that Building 429 covered this song. I mean, I really like Building 429, and I really like this song, You Keep Hope Alive. Pretty good cover here, I would say. The only thing I would say is Jason Roy's voice sounded a little different than I expected on this one, which kind of threw me off a little bit at first, to be honest. Wasn't sure how I was feeling about his voice sounding, but I came to get warmed up to it, and overall, pretty good cover here, I would say. And yes, I got used to Jason Roy's voice eventually on this track as well, even if it sounded a little different than expected initially. Stylistically here, definitely a contemporary pop worship rendition of this song. And as for the lyrics here, well, as I already said, I love this worship song. So it should be no surprise that I love the lyrics to this song. And the lyrics talk about how in these most dark days, God lights our way with the saving hope of his unfailing promises through Jesus' death-defeating resurrection. Up next, World Gone Cold's debut single, Opposites Attract. So before I dive into my thoughts on World Gone Cold's debut single, Opposites Attract, which is going to be on their upcoming EP coming out March 17th, let me just say a couple things. Number one, thanks Christian Music Girl for requesting this debut single. And number two, this is a band formed by members of other bands, including Ryland Rouse of Attack Attack, and a little further back in the day, Inhale Exhale, Mark Anthony of The Letter Black, Andrew Stanton, one of the best guitar soloists in the business, and he is known for being part of Disciple, Mark Daniels of POD, and Tim Yogi Watts of Demon Hunter. Now that I introduced everybody, let's get into the single itself. So, pretty good debut single here. Stylistically, definitely an electronic hard rock with a metal bridge. Mostly singing vocals here, but some screams as well here. And as for the lyrics here, definitely deals with relationship themes here. Ryland talks about how he's struggling with the thought of the girl he loves walking away after everything he said, but he's hoping they can learn from the past pain and restore their relationship. Well, that's it for this week. Come back next week for 5 more releases. If you like what you saw in this video, please subscribe. Put out videos every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, if you have any thoughts on today's releases or what I may have said about them, let me know that in the comments below. Also, in the comments, you can let me know if there's any awesome release that came out today that you want to see in next week's video. Thanks to Jake and Christian Music Girl for sending me in some good questions in the comments thus far. I plan on recording the 100 subscriber Q&A as soon as I can, and hope to get that out to y'all soon. I'm still taking questions if anybody else has, even if Jake and Christian Music Girl, you have more questions for me, feel free to leave those in the comments below. And anybody else who wants to give me questions, I'm open to questions from you as well, so let me know if you have any questions that you want to see in the Q&A video. Also, check out the playlist section for our Music Month Dreams playlist available here on YouTube and also on Spotify. And this month's edition of the playlist includes songs from artists like Austin French, Lecrae, Andy Mineo, Tadashi, and others. So go and check it out if you're interested. Well, go now. See you next week for 5 more releases. Bye!